The Middle East, a region synonymous with volatility, is once again teetering on the brink. The United States launched airstrikes against Houthi rebel targets in Yemen on March 15, 2025. This action marks a significant escalation in the ongoing conflict and has sent shockwaves through the region and beyond. The strikes, targeting multiple locations including the capital Sana'a, were a response to a series of Houthi attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea. The Red Sea, a vital maritime route connecting Asia and Europe, has become a flashpoint in recent months. The U.S. airstrikes highlight the Biden administration's growing concern over the security situation in Yemen and its potential impact on global trade. The strikes targeted key Houthi military infrastructure, including weapons depots and drone facilities. The U.S. claims that these actions were taken in self-defense and were necessary to deter future attacks and ensure the safety of maritime navigation in the region. The strikes have drawn condemnation from various international actors, including humanitarian organizations operating in Yemen. The United Nations has called for restraint from all parties involved and urged a return to dialogue to resolve the conflict. The recent U.S. airstrikes in Yemen were a direct response to a series of calculated and increasingly brazen attacks on international shipping in the Red Sea by the Houthi rebels. For months, the Houthis have targeted commercial vessels, including oil tankers and cargo ships, disrupting vital trade routes and sending ripples of anxiety through the global economy. These attacks, often carried out with sophisticated weaponry, including explosive-laden drones and sea mines, have resulted in significant damage to vessels, loss of cargo, and most tragically, the loss of innocent lives. The Houthis claim they are targeting ships belonging to countries supporting their adversaries in the ongoing Yemeni civil war. The United States contends that these attacks are a direct threat to international peace and security. The Red Sea, one of the world's busiest shipping lanes, is a vital artery for global trade. Disruptions to this maritime route have far-reaching consequences, impacting energy supplies, commodity prices, and the movement of goods across continents. The U.S. maintains that the Houthis are engaging in acts of piracy and terrorism that threaten the very foundation of international law and order at sea. The recent airstrikes were about upholding the principle of freedom of navigation and ensuring the free flow of commerce upon which the global economy depends. The Houthi rebels, while operating primarily within Yemen, are not isolated actors in the region. They are widely believed to receive significant military and financial support from Iran, a regional power with its own geopolitical ambitions and a long-standing rivalry with the United States and its allies. Iran's alleged backing of the Houthis has added another layer of complexity to the already volatile situation in the Middle East. The U.S. accuses Iran of supplying the Houthis with advanced weaponry, including the drones and missiles used in the recent attacks on shipping. This support, according to the U.S., is part of a broader Iranian strategy to destabilize the region and undermine American interests. Iran, for its part, denies providing direct military aid to the Houthis. It maintains that its relationship with the group is primarily political and humanitarian. The U.S. airstrikes in Yemen have inevitably raised tensions between Washington and Tehran. The Biden administration has warned Iran against further support for the Houthis, while Iran has condemned the strikes as an act of aggression against Yemen and a violation of international law. The recent U.S. airstrikes in Yemen and the escalating tensions in the Red Sea have sent shockwaves through the global community. The incident has highlighted the interconnected nature of global security and the potential for regional conflicts to spill over and impact the wider world. The immediate and most tangible consequence of the unrest in the Red Sea has been the disruption to global shipping. With insurers reassessing risks and shipping companies diverting vessels away from the area, the cost of transporting goods through this vital waterway has skyrocketed. This rise in shipping costs is already being felt by consumers worldwide as businesses grapple with increased expenses and supply chain disruptions. The uncertainty in the Red Sea has also sent jitters through global energy markets. With a significant portion of the world's oil supply passing through this maritime choke point, any disruption to shipping routes has the potential to send oil prices soaring. This volatility in the energy market adds another layer of complexity to the global economic outlook. The situation has also triggered a flurry of diplomatic activity as world leaders scramble to contain the crisis and prevent further escalation. The recent U.S. airstrikes in Yemen, while presented as a limited and targeted response to Houthi aggression, have nonetheless raised the specter of a wider conflagration in the Middle East. The region, already grappling with multiple conflicts and simmering tensions, is now facing the prospect of a direct military confrontation between the United States and Iran, two global powers with a long and tumultuous history. The risk of miscalculation and escalation is high. Both the US and Iran have significant military capabilities in the region and a track record of assertive foreign policy. Any further escalation, whether intentional or accidental, could quickly spiral out of control, drawing in regional allies and potentially igniting a wider conflict with devastating consequences. The potential human cost of such a conflict is immeasurable. The Middle East, already home to some of the world's most protracted and bloody conflicts, would be plunged into further chaos and suffering. The international community, already grappling with the humanitarian fallout from the war in Ukraine, would face another major crisis. Beyond the immediate human cost, a wider conflict in the Middle East would have profound geopolitical ramifications. It would further destabilize an already volatile region, exacerbate existing conflicts, and create new ones. The situation in the Red Sea and the broader Middle East is at a critical juncture. The recent US airstrikes in Yemen, while intended to deter further Houthi aggression, have heightened tensions and increased the risk of a wider conflict. The path forward is fraught with peril, requiring careful diplomacy, strategic restraint, and a commitment to de-escalation from all parties involved. The international community has a crucial role to play in diffusing the crisis. The United Nations, working with regional partners, must lead efforts to broker a ceasefire between the warring parties in Yemen and facilitate a political solution to the conflict. The US, while understandably concerned about protecting its interests and ensuring freedom of navigation, must exercise restraint and avoid actions that could escalate the situation further. Dialogue, however difficult, remains the only viable path to a lasting peace. The US and Iran, despite their deep-seated differences, must find ways to engage in direct and constructive talks to address their mutual concerns and prevent a catastrophic confrontation. The international community must work collectively to create the conditions for such dialogue to occur, providing assurances and incentives to both sides. The stakes are too high for anything less than a concerted and coordinated international effort.